Talk 580 105.9 KMJ. Welcome to the Marc Kapetan Show. I'm attorney Marc Kapetan, your host. The Marc Kapetan Show is brought to you by the Kapetan Brothers Law Firm, serving the Central Valley since 1995. If you or anybody you know has been injured in an auto accident, a truck accident, or a motorcycle accident, give us a call at 559-498-8000. Or if you've been arrested or cited for a criminal offense, call us 559-498-8000. Kapetan Brothers. We are the Valley's law firm. On today's show, it's going to be a guy that I've had about 15 minutes of a conversation with, but I have referred to his firm cases for about 30 years. On the show today is attorney Joseph O'Keefe. He is a certified specialist in workers' compensation and Social Security disability benefits. He is with the law firm of Cole, Fisher, Cole, and O'Keefe. Joe O'Keefe. Welcome, Joe.
Hey, welcome, Mark.
I understand that I may have gotten the name wrong on that on the name of your firm.
Yeah, we'll get that. It's Cole, Fisher, Cole, O'Keefe, and Mahoney. There you go.
Cole, Fisher, Cole, O'Keefe, and now Mahoney.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We got Rachel Mahoney, one of our new partners.
Oh, okay. So Rachel Mahoney, I understand, is she a part of the family also?
Well, not directly to me. Rachel's the daughter of my partner, Leah Cole, and her dad, Curtis, was our founder.
And what I meant by that is the Cole family. I understand, and that was one of the questions I had for you. You are not part of the Cole family, correct?
Not yet. No, I'm just teasing. No. But to be fair, Curtis has treated me like a son for years.
And I figured that was going to be your response, is that, listen, when you deal with a family firm, because, listen, my brother and I have this firm for years and years, and before my brother John became a judge, he was part of it too. It is like a family working in these firms that have multiple members that are sure. Family members, huh?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm assuming they're like this, but, our paralegals will sit there and say, listen, if you got a kid's game to go to or something like that, family's always more important. Do you guys get that sense when you're over there at Cole?
Yeah, I mean, particularly in light of what's been going on with COVID, it's been tough. We've got family members that have to trade time with the kids at home.
Right.
It's been a challenge.
Right.
It's been a staffing challenge for, I think, most businesses.
I can imagine. Yeah.
There's the primary effects and the secondary.
Are you guys open for business in that sense, or are many people working from home?
When we first got the order, we sent everybody home, had to retool
right.
with our IT, et cetera. And then I guess it was back in June, started coming back in. So now we're pretty much fully staffed in the office, but we've had to reorganize to give sufficient room for spacing. And then my partners and I, we have to be good roommates and share the conference room, that kind of thing. It's just good.
Let me ask you, my firm, if you ask me anything about criminal defense or criminal law, or if you ask me anything about personal injury, we're on it, right?
Right.
And I swear, for 30 years now, from the first call that I got, and I remember the first time that I actually called your guys' office. At the time, I think it was Cole and Fisher, and that was it. I had a call, and the person said they were injured. I go, oh, great. Come to our office. We'd love to help you out. And they said, at work. I said, let me have you call who I know to be the best firm in town, Cole and Fisher, and I've referred, and this is not an ad for you guys, but I've referred to you guys forever, and you guys have done a great job for me. But what is the difference between a personal injury case like I would handle and you guys doing workers' comp?
Well, obviously, we're talking about somebody who was injured, what we call in the course and scope of employment. That's
right.
Legally used to say they either got hurt at work or something surrounding work. And the main difference is that the benefits or remedies that a person can receive are very much regulated by this specific body of law called workers' compensation. It's considered a no-fault policy. So if you get hurt at work and you were walking down the hallway and you tripped because you weren't paying attention to what you were doing, that could be a workers' comp claim. If you were you fell off a ladder because your buddy next door to you dropped a tool on your head. That's a workers' compensation claim.
So let me ask you, I mean, when did this come into being? Because typically insurance companies handle that. So this was basically a state-run insurance fund, basically?
Well, before workers' compensation existed, if a person got hurt at work, let's say you're a roofer, and you fell off the roof, broke your neck. To get anything from your employer, you would have to sue your employer. You would have to prove that your employer was negligent, which may be hard to do.
Oh.
And then back in those days, they had this legal doctrine called assumption of the risk,
right?
Which meant that if you knew the risk involved and you got hurt, too bad you didn't get anything.
So it wasn't a matter of what we know as contributory negligence, that maybe the worker was also negligent. The employers were getting away with not paying out by saying, well, you're a roofer. You knew that you were going to be working at heights, and you knew that potentially you would fall. You assumed that risk?
Correct.
Oh, my gosh. So the workers and the employers were fighting against each other.
Correct. So I believe it in California, first statute came out about 1917. So now what we have is this system where if you're injured at work, you're entitled to a very limited amount of benefits.
Right.
You don't have to prove fault. However, you cannot sue your employer for normal personal injury damages. So there's a huge difference in what that might be. You do personal injury law.
So you could sue them for out-of-pocket expenses under workers' compensation. Not sue them. You could seek...
you file a claim.
A claim.
Right.
It's not... Is it against the employer, or is it against the fund that you file the claim?
So in California, we have to name an employer as a party to the case.
Okay.
But as a practical matter, all employers in California, with rare exception, have to have a workers' compensation policy.
Right.
About a fourth of those, maybe 20%, are with a agency called State Compensation Insurance Fund. The others are with private insurance carriers, Liberty Mutual, et cetera. So the claim is really brought against them, just like if you have health insurance for your firm, for your employees with Blue Cross. You're going to file a claim with who? Blue Cross.
Right. So, are they able to defend themselves very independently, or is there a limited defense that an employer could bring?
Well, most of the carriers are going to provide that defense coverage.
Right.
But yeah, they will hire defense attorneys and represent them. So if there's a dispute over whether or not the person was in fact injured at work or off the job, or you guys got hurt in a fight, we think you threw the first punch, you were drunk, that kind of thing. So there are defenses that they can raise.
But the defense seems to be solely limited to whether it is within the course and scope of the employment, right? It's not a matter of who was at fault or not.
Typically, that's exactly the case. There are rare exceptions where you have what we call really gross negligence. We call those serious and willful misconduct claims, and those are usually claims where an employer knowingly or intentionally put somebody in a very dangerous circumstance.
Right.
They got an injury, and there's additional benefits that could be owed.
And is there a time, and maybe the additional benefits that you're talking about, is there a time where you could go after the employer for the workers' comp claim because it's within the course and scope, but also the employer has committed an act of negligence where you're going to file a negligence action on top?
For ordinary negligence, no. If we have a circumstance of very gross negligence, that can be what we call serious and willful misconduct, and it provides a 50% increase in the benefits. The big case is where there's an intentional tort.
Oh, I see.
An employer intentionally injures somebody. So, for example, a case of sexual assault,
right? Usually
intentional.
But does that now then take it out of workers' comp?
Both remedies are available.
Both remedies are available. We are on with Joseph O'Keefe from Cole, Fisher, Cole, O'Keefe, and Mahoney. We'll be right back after this. This is the Marc Kapetan Show on KMJ. Talk 580 105.9 KMJ. Welcome back to the Marc Kapetan Show. I'm Marc Kapetan, your host. You like that? I hit. We're going to talk about Joe's radio career here. I hit the post, right? Is that what that's called, Joe? The Marc Kapetan Show is brought to you by the Kapetan Brothers Law Firm, serving the Central Valley since 1995. If you or anybody you know has been injured in an auto accident, a truck accident, or a motorcycle accident, give us a call at 559-498-8000. Or if you've been arrested or cited for a criminal offense, call us 559-498-8000. Kapetan Brothers, we are the Valley's law firm. We are back on with Joe O'Keefe. He is from the law firm of Cole Fisher, Cole, O'Keefe, and Mahoney. But also, you used to be you're a pilot or a musician, but you also used to be a board operator at a radio station, right?
Oh, yeah.
Where was that?
The mighty KFYE Y94 FM.
Oh, the original Y94?
Yeah.
No kidding. Wait, how old were you when you did that?
I think I was about 19.
19 years old.
Yeah, I was going to Fresno State.
Does this equipment look familiar too?
Actually,
I think it's from back then.
Modern comparably, but I'm not seeing those. They call them carts. They look like 8-track tapes.
I hate to tell you, there's one right there.
Oh my gosh! Yes. Let the record reflect. There's a piece of museum wear here.
So Joe, you'll obviously recognize that when I brought that music back up in between syllables, that was hitting the post, right? Is that what that's called?
I believe that's what it's called. Yeah.
Don't ask me. I'm not a radio guy.
Not whipping the post. That's it.
So, listen, we were talking about, and I got to say, I don't like talking law on the show, but it is fascinating to me learning how your business works. But here's the more topical thing. I had called your office, like I said, I've referred you guys cases for years and years, but I called your office a while ago because we just referred a COVID death claim to you.
Yeah.
Tell me about, there's a new Senate Bill 1159 that the governor signed, and it is allowing compensation in workers' comp cases for COVID victims, right?
Correct.
How's that work?
Well, first off, workers' compensation for years has recognized that there are a class of injuries, we'll call them occupational disease.
Right. Oh, I didn't know that.
And so examples of those would be valley fever. If you work at a certain institution where all of your employees are getting valley fever, that could be a valley fever claim. Another type of claim would be a person who gets carpal tunnel. They're operating hand machinery all day long. So that's an example of occupational disease. In certain fields, those diseases are so prevalent that the legislature enacted certain presumptions. I'll give you an example. If you're a firefighter and you have a heart attack or develop a heart condition, we have a presumption that says within certain parameters that heart condition is going to be presumed to be work-related. Why? Because they have found that people within that particular industry had such a high prevalence of it, and quite frankly, there was a political call to make that happen.
Right.
So that to make it easier for firefighters to obtain benefits if they had a heart attack, we created a presumption. So these presumptions exist. I could do a whole show on that. But what we did is we created a presumption. The legislature created presumptions for people who came down with COVID-19.
So it's not a novel thing it's been going on with other types of diseases and occupational hazards, basically.
Correct. Yeah, it's been around.
And so the presumption that they created in this COVID is that these, I think there's two tiers, if I was doing my research correctly, that one of them is for first responders, such as healthcare workers and police officers and firefighters, and then others for other employees of other businesses. What's the distinction there?
Yeah, so it's it's kind of funny. I was reading through this and it's like a bad novel,
and it just came out like less than a month ago, right?
September 22nd, it got passed. Right. So basically, the two classes of people are first responders. So you think of your police, firefighter, people who work in certain hospital settings, et cetera, that are likely to be exposed. So if they get it within a certain time frame, it's going to be presumed that it was work-related.
Right.
And then the second group of people are people who have worked in an outfit where there has been an outbreak. And there's very specific rules to determine what an outbreak means.
I saw that. Like 4 people out of 100, or how does it?
Correct.
Basically?
It's basically 4 people within a workplace, but 4% within 14 days of the onset of when you get tested,
Right.
if you have it. So these are the criteria. Now, these statutes, interestingly, sunset. I think the second one ends January 2023.
2023, right.
Which is going to be a really interesting thing, because that litigation is going to have to be really pushed and fast-tracked to allow those people to get their benefits, because once the statute goes away, well...
And what do you mean fast-tracked? I mean, are these workers' comp cases, do they go on and on and on like some of these civil cases do?
Yeah, they do, depending on the nature of the claim. All I'm just saying is that if I have a client who's got this particular type of situation, you're going to bring everything you can to bear to possibly get that through the litigation process before the statute sunsets.
And what can the employer, does the employer have a defense in these?
Oh, yeah.
There's this rebuttable, it's a rebuttable presumption, meaning...
Correct, yeah. All a presumption, just so your audience understands, is the common example of a presumption is what? A DUI, right?
Right.
So your blood alcohol level is point what?
0.10 or whatever, and if it's over or from a 05 to an 08, it's one type of presumption. If it's over an 08, it's a presumption that you're under the influence, basically.
And so that's what a presumption is.
Right.
So if you meet this criteria, it's presumed that your disease was caused at work, and therefore you get some benefits. But it is rebuttable. That, for example, if an employer were to show that, okay, we followed all these safety criteria.
Right.
We did the masks, we did the social distancing, we took the temperatures, and on top of that, Mr. Jones complaining of this, we found out that all 5 of your family members had the disease before you got it.
And none of them had been at work. So there's a public policy behind this that also is trying to get the employers to come up to speed with the protections, right?
Absolutely.
What is, whether it's a COVID case or whether it's a typical workers' comp case, what are they entitled to besides just paying back medical bills? So are they entitled to pain and suffering and things of that nature?
Well, pain and suffering, no. So there's 4 essential benefits. One is medical treatment, pay for certain medical expenses.
Right.
Second is temporary disability payments. This is going to pay 2/3 of your wages during the period of time that you're off work, typically for up to 2 years, no more than that. There's a benefit called permanent disability benefits, which is not what it sounds like.
Okay.
Permanent disability, if you and I are at a baseball stadium having a beer and a hot dog watching the team play, and I said, hey, what do you do, Mark? And you said, well, I get permanent disability. I'm off from work.
Right.
A reasonable person would think, well, permanent means forever. Disability means you can't work. Benefits means we're going to give you some money.
Right.
That's not what it means in California.
Because believe me, we get a lot of that at the office. Yeah,
sure. Yeah. So what we're talking about is some anatomical change to your body that has occurred. It's become permanent.
Right.
So, for example, with COVID, I can imagine a situation where a person has a lung injury and their lung volume, their ability to breathe has been reduced, or their heart function's been reduced. We translate that to a certain percentage, which equals a certain number of weeks of benefits.
Okay.
Occasionally, and I expect we will see it, I've had some cases like this where a person's had a brain injury. That might be a benefit that pays for life.
And those are considered permanent. Isn't there a difference between permanent and temporary, and then also total and non-total disability as far as that's concerned? It has to be a combination. If you're going to get benefits for life, it has to have a total disability that completely affects your work, that you can't work at all.
As a general rule, that's a pretty good description.
Is that pretty good for a novice that I am?
Yeah. We'll give you a C+ on that, Mark. Good job.
I'm learning, Joe. I'm learning. We are on with Joseph O'Keefe. He's a certified specialist for workers' comp and Social Security disability benefits with Cole, Fisher, O'Keefe, and Mahoney. We got to shorten that up one of these days. We are on the Marc Kapetan Show. We'll be right back after this. This is KMJ. Talk 580 105.9 KMJ. Welcome back to the Marc Kapetan Show. I'm Marc Kapetan, your host. As always, today's show is brought to you by the Kapetan Brothers Law Firm, serving the Central Valley since 1995. If you or anybody you know has been injured in an auto accident, a truck accident, or a motorcycle accident, give us a call at 559-498-8000. Or if you've been arrested or cited for a criminal offense, call us 559-498-8000. Kapetan Brothers, we are the Valley's law firm. We're back on with Joseph O'Keefe from Cole Fisher, Cole O'Keefe and Mahoney. If you know what, Joe, a workers' compensation firm here in town, great firm here in town. What's the number to your firm and your contact information?
Sure, it's 559-485-0700.
Emails or anything like that? Please don't tell me it's all those names listed.
No. We just have it info@colefisher.com. If you want to do that. Or our website's easy, www.colefisher.com. That's COLEFISHER.
Very nice. In that radio voice that you remember from being back in the day.
Funny.
How did you get? You're a Fresno guy, right?
Yeah.
Born and raised.
Born in Oakland, transplanted in 4th grade.
Yeah.
No, 4 years old.
What did the family do? I mean, mom, dad, all that.
Yeah, my mom worked doing clerical stuff and ultimately accounting. By the way, she turned 81. She finally decided to retire. At the age of 81, she was working for CAL FIRE.
Are you kidding me?
No,
CAL FIRE, really?
Yeah.
We just had a guest from CAL FIRE last week, yeah.
So she finally hung it up, and now she takes care of all her buddies.
She's going to finally go on vacation and move down to Cabo and all that kind of stuff.
I hope not. And Dad worked with a company called Granger.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And so that was cool. As a kid, he used to tag me along all over the dang state.
Doing those sales calls, right?
Going and counting customers' fan belts.
Right,
You know, just doing whatever he had to take care of the customers. Yeah.
No kidding.
That was fun.
How old were you about when you would do that kind of stuff? Back in the day?
Yeah. Well, I think he just did it to get me out of my mom's hair.
So that'd be back. I mean, I hate to listen. You're a very young, handsome young man over here, but that'd be back in the '60s. I mean, that had to be just great traveling up and down California.
Yeah, late '60s,
early '70s.
Yeah.
Oh wow, you must have seen some sights. Driving down would have been Golden State Boulevard back in the day.
Golden State, going over to Tehachapi, Ridgecrest, NorCal.
Oh, that far?
Yeah, we had that was his
do you remember?
range.
Do you remember what car he would drive when he would do that?
Oh God, the last one was the last car he had business wise was a '76 Mercury Cougar station wagon.
Wow! Oh, station wagon. I thought you were going to say Mercury Cougar
with the fold down back seat. Remember those? Yeah.
Listen, do I remember those? My dad.
Wait.
Go ahead.
You're on the radio.
Yeah. No. Do I remember those? My dad. No, not that way. Listen, my dad had a '65 Chrysler New Yorker station wagon, and the back seat. Well, actually, where the luggage was, that was where I used to live when we were driving cross country because he was a Marine.
Wow.
No seat belts.
Right.
Bags all around me, and I'd create a little cubby hole and put a little blanket down, and I would travel 3,000 miles like that.
Just sustain any head injuries?
No, but okay. So on the Chesapeake Turnpike, the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel, we got hit from behind, and I was sitting on the armrest in the front seat. Again, no seatbelts back then.
Right.
And I remember my head hitting the roof, and we get out, and my dad has a quarter-size dent on his bumper, and behind us is the Corvette that slid under our bumper and completely ruined the front of this guy's car. And my dad looks at him and he goes, "That's okay, son. We won't exchange information. You're free to go." And the poor guy's like, "Great, thanks." Yeah. What a great story. So how did you get into, I mean, you went to Hoover High. I understand you majored in journalism at Fresno State.
Yeah.
Did you want to be a journalist? What?
Well, so when I was in Fresno State, you get to your junior year, you got to declare a major. And
you had no idea what you wanted to do?
I wanted to go into aerospace engineering. I've always been interested in aviation.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that, yeah.
Somewhere in, I don't know, my sophomore year, I was taking this class called calculus, and no offense to the teacher, but I honestly, he had such an accent, I couldn't understand him, and I was a pretty lousy student at the time, so we didn't pass calculus. So went to Plan B, and one of my friends, his dad taught at the university in public relations journalism, and that kind of turned me on. So we went that route, and also minored in business. I thought I'd go get an MBA,
right?
But worked in journalism for a little bit, and then
did you have? That's funny that's your change. I was going to go into the medical field, and then it was chemistry that turned me off. So I became a marine biologist. But was there any sense at any point that you're going to be a journalist? I mean, were you going to go to war or something like that?
No, I was really more interested in the public relations side. And
I see.
And to be honest with you, when I started it, I didn't understand that public relations was a quote-unquote journalism function, at least at the university level. But I understand why that makes sense now.
Right.
So, I started journalism in 5th grade, throwing papers for the Fresno Bee.
Oh, good for you. You were a B-boy. No kidding.
Yeah. But
do you miss those old days of the B-boy coming up, and actually he had his little notebook there, and he would
collecting for the bee.
That's right.
Yeah.
So
you know what? That's a bygone era, man. That was a good gig for a kid.
Well, that's why I was asking you about traveling with your dad. I mean, that was a bygone era. It was just simple, nice times back then.
And I like to think that to some degree that still exists now. I didn't get to take my kids to work very much, but what a great thing to be able to do.
If you could find it for me, those times, simple times again, can you please tell me where they are?
Yeah. It's somewhere in Stranger Things.
How did you get into law?
So, I think I can talk about this now.
Uh-oh.
No, I actually...
There's a bleep button right in front of you there now.
So I'd had an interest in the law in that when I was a kid in Boy Scouts, we took a law merit badge. And
there was a law merit badge?
Yeah, law merit badge.
I didn't know that.
So we had Dennis Beck did a lesson for us. We did a little mock trial.
The great Dennis Beck, the great judge, Dennis Beck.
What a good guy, yeah.
Great guy.
So that was kind of cool. That kind of sparked my interest. And then when I was my senior year at Fresno State, I was taking a bunch of business classes.
Right.
I took a business law class, and the professor was visiting from University of Michigan, Bill, and he needed to get his lease car back to Michigan. So on spring break, he asked me, "Hey, if I pay you, will you drive the car to Michigan? I'll pay for your flight back." And I said, "What the heck? That sounds fun." No
kidding.
And then after I agreed to it, he says, "A little change of plans here. I think I'll go with you." One of my fraternity buddies from when I was a kid was going to meet us in Denver. So we did this road trip. And on that road trip, he explained to me his exploits in the law and what he was interested in. And I thought, well, that's kind of interesting.
This was your professor?
Yeah.
Oh, how cool is that?
That was really cool.
What was his name? Bill?
Bill Carlson.
I love that you called him Bill, though.
Well, that's what we got to know each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Bill Carlson still around?
He's passed on.
Yes.
Yeah.
So was he a practicing attorney, or was he a
He
professor?
had been at one time, and then he went into the academia at the University of Washington, at Michigan.
Do you remember the field that he used to practice in?
No, I don't.
And I didn't know if it was a field that you were interested in, or he got you interested in it.
No, just generally. And, I think the law was a little bit of appealing in the same sense that just like I was interested in engineering, there's certain laws or physics and logic to it.
Right.
The law seemed to have that. I'm not sure it does anymore. But,
so we get to thank Bill Carlson for that, right?
I'll give a shout out to Dennis.
And Dennis Beck, my sister-in-law, worked for him for many years as a research attorney.
Yeah.
We're going to be right back with Joseph O'Keefe, attorney here in town, and a great guy, it sounds like. This is the Marc Kapetan Show on KMJ. Talk 580 1059 KMJ. Welcome back to the Marc Kapetan Show. I'm Marc Kapetan, your host. And as always, the Marc Kapetan Show is brought to you by the Kapetan Brothers Law Firm, serving the Central Valley since 1995. If you or anybody you know has been injured in an auto accident, a truck accident, or a motorcycle accident, give us a call at 559-498-8000. Or if you've been arrested or cited for a criminal offense, call us 559-498-8000. Kapetan Brothers, we are the Valley's law firm. We're back on with Joseph O'Keefe from the law firm of Cole, Fisher, Cole, O'Keefe, Mahoney. They do workers' comp claims. The number for your firm again, Joe, is
485-0700.
485-0700. That's the number if you have been in an injury at work in the course and scope. Even if you're not in the course and scope and you're not quite sure, give them a call.
485-0700.
0700. Joe, we were, I was looking on your Facebook because that's where the greatest research is. It says, this is going to embarrass you, buddy. All right. It says you are from Hoover High School, Fresno State High School, the School of Rock, the School of Hard Knocks, and blessed with a great family and friends. Is that you, Joe?
I think all of that is true. Yes. Particularly the family and friends.
And what it brings up for me is the School of Rock and the School of Hard Knocks. Sounds like every musician that I've ever talked to. You are a musician. You're a guitar player, right?
I am, yeah.
What's the name of the band?
No. Current project, we're going to call ourselves the Deacons of Joyful
Deacons.
Noise. Yeah, we kind of like doing, I call it good news blues. That is to say, I like to take songs that are blues rock, but
right.
I always want to, if I'm going to sing or perform something, I want it to be something that's positive.
So you're not actually singing about the blues, you're singing about the positivities of life.
Yeah.
That's a good twist. That's a good twist. You were in a band back in the day called what, The Catch?
Oh, dear God. Yeah. The Catch in high school.
Shout out to your old buddies from high school.
Oh, yeah. So here, Stan Diebert, I think you're out there. Say, hey, Stan, and Pat, and
we're getting old. We don't remember. We don't remember those guys. All right. So speaking about School of Rock and your wild side, Joe, you're a pilot. Also, you're part of the Experimental Aircraft Association.
I'm a member like your AAA, right? No.
Oh, come on. Yeah.
No, but
listen, flying, that's a crazy thing. What do you fly?
So I currently fly a vintage Cessna 172.
Oh, no kidding. What year is it from?
57.
Okay, which is amazing, folks, because I've flown in a 172 also. But to say from 1957, you're like, why would you get in an old car like that on the streets without a fear of it breaking down? But those things last forever, right?
Well, you have to maintain them in a way that you don't do in a car. So at least every 100 hours or at least once a year, you're going to be taking elements apart. You remove the interior, you inspect it. And
do you do the work yourself, or do you have a guy that does the work?
As much as I can do legally, I do. But I have a mechanic that works with me and will supervise stuff.
The 172 is a 4-seater, right?
Correct.
But still single engine.
Correct.
Yeah. Meaning you're gliding down if that one.
That's the other engine is the glider. Yeah. Gravity.
How many hours do you have?
1,800, something like that.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Yeah.
When did you first start flying?
When I was 4 years old.
Are you kidding?
No,
me?
I'm serious. Yeah, my grandfather's dad, or my grandfather's friend gave me a ride in an airplane out at Sierra Sky Park one October misty morning.
Wow.
And that kind of hooked me. And then so as I grew up, my uncle would let me fly with him occasionally on a business trip. And as soon as I could muster up the time, I actually went to ground school at Fresno Unified. We used to have summer school. It used to be fun. Remember that?
Right.
Yeah, they had a ground school at Bullard High School, so I did that in 7th grade.
Oh, my God.
And
so it's more natural for you to be flying than basically driving a car.
Ironically, I never thought about that, but I do feel that, yeah.
Well, and the reason why I say is my dad was a pilot in the Marines, and he came to me when I was 12 years old or 11 years old, and he said, "Hey, Mark, they're giving flight lessons. It's $7 an hour. Would you like to take flight lessons?" I said, "Dad, I have football."
Oh, my gosh.
I didn't take it, and it kills me because to be able to have that natural ability so that it's secondhand nature. I just envy you for that.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Do you take the family on vacations and things of that nature?
In the airplane?
Yeah.
Yeah, not so much lately. At one time, we had a 6-passenger plane. You could pile the family and go to Montana.
Which one was that?
That was a Cherokee 6.
Oh, no kidding.
The Saratoga.
Is Cherokee's the brand name, or is that a Bonanza? A Piper, that's it, yeah. Beautiful planes.
The flying SUV. Yeah, it was a good plane.
It was the minivan of planes, is that what you're saying?
And back to the Volkswagen.
Good for you. You reliving your youth again?
Yeah.
You are also a committee treasurer of the Prayer Breakfast Committee. What's that all about?
Yeah, so it's called the Fresno Clovis Prayer Breakfast. Yeah. It's an event that happens once a year in Fresno. It started in the 1940s when about 5 businessmen got together and they thought it was a good idea to pray for our mayor and the city council. And so it's become an annual event. Last year we had 2,800 people attend. We had nationally recognized speakers. Right. So next year, Lord willing, and we get through this COVID, Ann Graham Lotz has accepted our invitation to come to Fresno. It's really exciting.
And well, explain, though, who that is, though.
Yeah. So many of your guests would be familiar with the evangelist Billy Graham.
Right.
He had children, one of which is Ann Graham Lotz. His other son is Franklin. So Ann's a noted speaker, author, and really an amazing woman. She's got amazing stories and testimony, and really looking forward to having her out here. It's really an exciting time.
That's awesome. How did that start? Where did that come from, the prayer breakfast?
Yeah, so, well, after these men met in the 40s, as I discussed,
right.
My involvement with it began when I was a young attorney. An attorney in town invited me to get onto the board and act as treasurer, and now we're co-chair, and we've been able to expand it over the years. We're very fortunate. We have a gentleman in Fresno who probably would choose to remain nameless, who is personal friends with many of these people.
Oh, I see.
And he has been very gracious to help us, and so. But what's fantastic about it is this last event, we had 2,800 people from all different aspects of the Christian faith. I mean, different colors, different flavors, but, we're there to really celebrate and really, truly support our community. And by the way, I'm not saying the prayer breakfast is because of it, but it's a byproduct of what makes the Fresno Clovis area a really, truly special place. I'm not saying that to be cliche, but you don't have to ignore what's been happening in the national news and see how things have been handled in Fresno.
No, and I understand that. There is, we don't have the problems, with the arguments between the leftist side and the police like they do in other cities. And I think you're right. I think there's a wholesomeness in the Fresno Clovis area that a lot of other cities don't have, and whether it comes from the churches or just a general understanding of right and wrong, I think we do have something special here.
There is a concerted, regular, ongoing effort for various leaders in our community to meet together and pray for each other and pray for this community.
I think one of the greatest things, talking about the wholesomeness of this area and your contribution to that, is in that same Facebook that I was reading, you indicate that you were blessed with great family and friends.
Yeah.
Whether it's from your job or from your family and friends, what's maybe the greatest accomplishment that you could see either at work or with your family and friends? I know that's sort of an open-ended question.
Wow. Well, who couldn't? I wouldn't say it's an accomplishment to bear children. That's not hard to do. But having a wife who's been a great partner, raising what I think are wonderful girls.
Any of the kids going to be going into law?
I thought one would, but she's now working with a outfit called International Justice Mission, helping save people from slavery, etc.
Oh, really?
And,
that's a beautiful thing.
Great kid. So keep doing what you're doing.
So no Cole, Fisher, O'Keefe, nothing like that?
Yeah.
We've been on with Joseph O'Keefe from the law firm of Cole, Fisher, Cole, O'Keefe, and Mahoney. It was wonderful having you on the show, Joe. Thanks.
Thank you, Mark.
We'll see you next week on the Marc Kapetan Show. This is KMJ.